there are these men, all right, dressed up in sheepskin, pretending to be the men of God, pretending that they love Christ, selling the gospel, selling Jesus, selling God, and of course packaging God and putting him in bottles and selling him to our people. We've seen a growth of these prophets coming from other African countries, coming into South Africa. And this country has opened doors for all sorts of fake prophets coming to tell us all sorts of mystery and lies and deceit and just like bullshit, man. So there's another particular prophet, you've heard about him, Bushiri. Anyway, he's no longer here, but you know the story, so I'm not going to go back to him. But the one that actually spiked my thinking around the issue study prophet was this. This guy here was appointed by the president, Mnangagwa.
Well, I think South Africa is a movie.
So Sunday, EFF Cape Town, keep trying, guys. Keep working. You guys have got this shit. I'm sure Ramaphosa.
The EFF people, they can't take defeat. They want to shut down a country. Some of us want to.
Comrades, this is the most successful shutdown ever.
Good to see you, Ambassador.
Undercover reporters posing as Chinese criminals meet one of Zimbabwe's most senior diplomats.
Ambassador at large, I'm ambassador to 85 countries. But on the special envoy, I'm a representative of the president. That means I can sign contracts, I can sign treaties with government without the president getting involved.
Woman with a trip neck.
Hubert Angel is also an evangelical preacher
Fire the Holy Ghost.
who says he has the gift of prophecy.
Welcome to it, man. This is the Free Ride podcast. And of course, this is the Unfiltered Truths. Thank you so much to all of you who keep liking, who keep sharing, who keep following. And I keep seeing you guys. And of course, it's been some time since I've last recorded a show. And of course, that is still going to come through. And of course, in the month of April, that's where I'm going to start with my interviews. I've got some interviews lined up. Happy V, my boy, he's organizing an event. And of course, this is why I really liked his concept, is because he's a young guy. He's an entrepreneur. He's trying to hustle. He understands a lot of the up-and-coming artists, Kosoweto, are going through a bit of a difficult time. And of course, him being an artist himself, he thought, let him organize an event that is going to cater for young people. And of course, I'll tell you all about it.
What our pages are with the B stands for peace. Announcement real quick. Please do book the Be Happy NYE Festival tickets. There's 3 packages available. There's parking. There's 50 that's available for free right now. And there's stall for style. If you want to bring your business into the event and sell some items, some food, accessories, clothing, you can come through. It's simply visit the website link that's provided on the description. Plus, there's entry general tickets currently available in the website for EP Happy NYE Festival. That's available for free. So make sure you do come through and let's have fun.
Okay, asahambe. Kodwa sama nabangani bami.
Yeah. So I'm going to be chatting to the boys in the next month or so. In the month of April, I'll be interviewing them, talking about what this event has to bring. And of course, so many of you guys have also shown an interest in coming through to the show. There's some things I've been cooking in the pipeline. So as soon as I've got them sorted out, I'll be doing my regular interviews on the Free Ride, getting all sorts of you guys from all different walks of life to come on and talk about your story, your journey. And of course, just to share your experiences with us on the Free Ride podcast. So that's going to happen. For now, I'm doing the Unfiltered Truths. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about current affairs matters. And of course, in the last couple of weeks, I've been glued to my screens, glued to the news, trying to see and understand what's going on. Firstly, The ANC marched on a Friday before the EFF's big march. And of course, that was a surprise march by the ANC, but it happened anyway, around the issues of, to complain about the issues of service delivery and all the mess that's happening in Tshwane municipality. And of course, so much has been happening in Tshwane. But Tshwane is not my focus today. My focus today is the EFF shutdown that went down last week. It's been 7 days. And my questions are, has the president of the country resigned? Has he resigned? No, he hasn't. Has load shedding stopped? Has it? Well, actually, last night, which was a Sunday, we had no load shedding. But today we've got load shedding twice, this morning and later on in the evening. So anyway, has things improved since the EFF marched or protested? All right. So what we're going to do right now, firstly, we're going to look at what Julius Malema has to say about the march. We're going to look at what analysts have to say. And of course, I'm going to look at supporters of the EFF, those who used this opportunity for a national shutdown. What did they get up to? There's a particular white guy I want to show you. Actually, there are two white guys I want to show you. One of them used the time. Was it fruitful? But we'll see. Okay. But he'll tell us what he got up to during that day of the march or what he was going to do. I'm also going to look at what analysts have to say. And of course, on that day in Ntantalax, a day before, he was toy soldier going around Soweto with his guns, with his army gear, and of course, you know, showing off his guns. Okay, maybe it didn't go to that extent, but also credit to Ntantalax for stepping up. Listen, not many of us can do what that nigger's doing. He's a brave ass moneyed nigger. So he can do what he can do. And of course, we appreciate the little that he's doing. But of course, some of you guys see him as a bit of a toy soldier, a bit of a fool, because he told us and he tweeted around about 4 o'clock in the morning on the day of the protest or the shutdown that his house had been bombed and that his whole family had been killed. And of course, I even got worried, man. I got so worried. I tweeted it, I posted it, only to wait for the story to unfold. There was no way I was going to go to his house to go and check out, all right? So I waited for the media to do that. And of course, the media went to his house to go check out. Habafita, Chigi, wait, what's going on? Anyway, I'll show you the videos on all of this. Let's take a break. Let's take a listen to what Julius Malema and the analysts and the supporters of the EFF and Ntantalax had to say. So let's check out all things 20th of March, shutdown, national shutdown. What went down? Let's go. Boom!
So Sunday EFF sidawa phela sini otrwani izinja abantu banyama sawuthanda EFF freedom fighters asinandaba basitshwaya mesiphuzo kusasa asina choice phela phela sawuthanda iholide phela kusasa yabonga Malema wenza iholide ngitawahle esikhotseni ngiyakuthanda malume otrwani izinja madodana.
I just want to hear from you, Uti. When did you learn about this, and how's your family doing, and what do you think might have been the reason that your house was
The reason is simple. Let's start with the reason. The reason is EFF people. The EFF people, they can't take defeat. They want to shut down a country. Some of us want to defend our country. We defend our communities. We beat them on the streets the whole night because our team is in collaboration with all law enforcement, so they don't stand a chance. So we managed to clean the streets the whole night. Literally, I was posting every hour. I was informing the world every hour. So they knew that when it comes to Soweto, they're not winning. So at about a few minutes past 4 a.m., I received calls from the entire neighborhood saying that, listen, there's massive bombs and gunshots going off, and we think it's at your house. And then in the same breath, I received calls from people in my house and saying, listen, we don't know what to do because there's a bomb that hit the roof and there's a second explosion now in the yard. So they thought the one that's outside was actually in the yard. You look at all my neighbors' windows, they're all shattered. So you can just imagine that the quality or the quality of bomb.
EFF Cape Town, keep trying, guys. Keep working. You guys have got this shit. I'm sure Ramaphosa's terrified. If I say VBS right there, I think they will moor me, even though I'm made out of rubber. Can't throw a tire at a tire. Can you ask Julius to nationalize Louis Vuitton, please? Louis Vuitton for everyone. Hey, how do you get the police to come immediately? You want to know? You don't phone and say you're being burgled. Tell them the EFF is having a protest. You guys will be there immediately. You can't arrest puppets. How do I know that? No one in the ANC has ever gone to jail. What is the difference between the ANC and the EFF, do you think?
No difference.
The EFF shut the country down once a year. The ANC shut us down twice a day. It's called load shedding. The national shutdown has been a massive success in spite of the police arresting 87 EFF members and 26,000 tires. The tires are out on bail.
Comrades, this is the most successful shutdown ever in the history of struggle in South Africa. Today, on my way here, they said they are cancelling load shedding for today because there is no demand of electricity today because the factories are closed. Yes. The consumers of electricity, the biggest consumers of electricity are closed. Yes. And that's why scientifically you should measure the success of this shutdown. Today, there is no big mall, there is no small mall, no shop, no factory, no school, no nothing is open today. All of them are closed. What makes matters worse, in Richards Bay, there is no single truck that was seen. There is no single train that was seen. Today, South Africa is shut down.
Here are my reflections on the protest. 3 things. Number 1, I think that the EFF had a very successful protest. They were able to show numbers. They were able to have a peaceful protest. And they were able to do so across the country. To run a protest of that magnitude in a variety of locations is not easy. And they were able to pull that off, number 1. So I think that you can give them a win. Number 2, I think that they showed the nerves of the government and the nervousness of the Ramaphosa administration because they overreacted to all of this. The deployment of 3,500 soldiers at a cost of 166 million rands, the ministers who were making all of the announcements across various platforms for a very long period of time, that showed jitters. It showed real lack of confidence in their man. Because sometimes when you overreact, the public can understand the implications of that. It's basically like Julius went, and they were like, and when you flinch, you show everyone that you are afraid. So that's number 2. Number 3, I think that a lot of people were also exposed for racism, because there was a presumption that because, you know, this protest is led by black people, this protest is by this group of poor people, therefore the assumption legitimately is that the protest will be violent. And a lot of the rhetoric about violence is not corroborated by any of the protests that the EFF has had. They have had massive protests for over 9 years where there were no incidences of violence. There was 2 where there were issues with vandalism. I think it was the Clicks shop in Sandton. But aside from isolated incidents, I don't think that you can argue that there's a pattern of behavior that can lead you to conclude that the protest will be violent. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts about the protest and some of the sideshows that happened? For instance, the fake bomb scare at Soweto Man's house. Let's have a conversation.
You saw it for yourself, man. South Africa is a movie.
Well, I think South Africa is a movie. We live in a drama. It's a series. Every day you will be shocked by something new. We have even forgotten what shocked us 2 weeks ago. You know, every day.
There's always something happening. Oh my God. I don't know what the hell is going to happen this week, but it's just been suspense after suspense, comedy after comedy, horror after horror, shock after shock. This is the country we're living in, man. South Africa, kibu Joe. All right. So anyway, here's another issue that I wanted to have a look at, right? So there are these men, all right, dressed up in sheepskin, pretending to be the men of God, pretending that they love Christ, selling the gospel, selling Jesus, selling God, and of course packaging God and putting him in bottles and selling him to our people. We've seen a growth of these prophets coming from other African countries, coming into South Africa. And this country has opened doors for all sorts of fake prophets coming to tell us all sorts of mystery and lies and deceit and just like bullshit, man. So there's another particular prophet. You've heard about him, Bushiri. Anyway, he's no longer here, but you know the story, so I'm not going to go back to him. But the one that actually spiked my thinking around the issue study prophet was this. This guy here was appointed by the president, Mnangagwa, the Zimbabwean president, as his ambassador to promote Zimbabwe. Kante, the guy is a gold mafia who's running a scheme. And this prophet, this motherfucker, who is a prophet who should be able to see things before they happen and so on, this guy did not see this happening. He did not see that the Chinese that were coming to see him, they were not real Chinese. Okay, maybe they are real Chinese, but they're not real thieves or thugs or that they were actually undercover journalists. He didn't see that. But he's able to point out at a lady who's sitting somewhere to say, Wena, you have some evil spirit, go Wena. Come over here. I want to remove that evil spirit. I'm going to make you walk. Wena. These prophets, man. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's take a look at the story, what's happening in Zimbabwe, man. It's crazy. Let's do that. Boom.
A senior diplomat from Zimbabwe has agreed to launder more than $1 billion in cash in what he believed to be a meeting with Chinese gangsters. Al Jazeera's investigative unit has found the diplomat was videotaped making the offer in a meeting with undercover reporters as part of an investigation by Al Jazeera into networks in Africa that use gold to launder vast sums of money. Hubert Angel is a British Zimbabwean businessman and the presidential envoy. He claims to have made it to the Africa Forbes Rich list in 2013. His net worth is around $60 million, and he calls himself the prophet of success. Alexander James has this exclusive report.
Good to see you, Ambassador.
Undercover reporters posing as Chinese criminals meet one of Zimbabwe's most senior diplomats.
An ambassador at large, I'm ambassador to 85 countries. But on the special envoy, I'm a representative of the president. That means I can sign contracts, I can sign treaties with government without the president getting involved.
Woman with a trip nev.
Hubert Angel is also an evangelical preacher
Fire the Holy Ghost.
who says he has the gift of prophecy with powers to heal the sick.
It takes the power of God, but it takes somebody to believe for something to happen like this.
Angel was personally appointed by President Emerson Mnangagwa to bring investment into Zimbabwe. The local currency has no international value. The country's biggest earner of US dollars is gold.
You want a gold? Gold, we can do it right now. We can make the call right now, and it's done with the president of Miners Association right this minute.
The president of Zimbabwe's Miners Federation is Henrietta Rushweya.
They want to invest in gold and buy gold and maybe send a private jet, picks up gold every week.
That's perfect. No, that's okay. Let's do it, bro.
$5 million can be cleaned every week.
We get gold worth $5 million every week. We take it out, bring another $5 million.
The ambassador is not bothered that the cash is being laundered.
It's money that cannot be declared in the country of origin.
We've already discussed it that we don't want to talk about it.
He explains a plan to smuggle the dirty cash into Zimbabwe using his diplomatic status.
Right now I can put some bag like this with 1.2 billion and put a red tape written diplomat. That's it.
Under the Vienna Convention, states agree to exempt diplomatic luggage from airport searches.
It's a very, very easy thing. It will land in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe can't touch it until I get to my house. Yeah, you can understand. Okay. So they can do a diplomatic plane.
Ambassador Angel, Henrietta Rushweya and President Mnangagwa did not respond to our...
All right, so you saw it for yourself, and of course, the kind of mess we are in, man. People, men in particular, pretending to be men of God, men of the cloth, and of course, these are lions in sheepskin. It's been shown to us with now this guy, but also others that have just been lying to us and selling us this fakeness or this fake God or... Yeah, look, I'm not a believer in those guys. I don't follow their ministries. I don't follow what their teachings are. I get clips and I see now and again in when I watch TV just to take a look and see what these pastors are telling people in church. And of course, it makes sense that a lot of our people are spiritual and a lot of our people they need something. Re rata go rapela, re batho ba we believe in ancestors, we believe in spiritualism. So, because sometimes you feel like your spirit is empty or you fall for whoever Johnny comes to you. And if they have a compelling story and you feel like you believe them and you end up following them. So this is what's happening in these churches because people are empty. People just need something. All right. So anyway, that's the story. I'm going to let that one go. And of course, we'll see how the story develops in the next couple of weeks. All right. So another issue that I wanted to look at, of course, this is about one of my favorite apps. Okay. This is TikTok. Now, I have joined TikTok last year sometime, probably about September, and I joined TikTok with this podcast, and around about September, and I fell in love with this TikTok, right? I fell in love with this app, just like I did with Facebook, not so much Instagram, but yeah, I built Instagram, I built Twitter, but I didn't necessarily fall in love with those ones. Simply because of how, not just the algorithms, but how people are on those apps, on those platforms. But with TikTok, it's a bit of a different story, is that it's a pure platform for creatives. I mean, you dance, you can go on TikTok. You sing, you go on TikTok. You're a motivational speaker, you can go on TikTok. You're a pastor, you're on TikTok. So it's just a platform for everyone. It doesn't have the negative cloud that Twitter has, right? Especially if you look at Black Twitter, especially if you look at how people can pull each other down on Twitter. Okay, to some extent Facebook, but TikTok has been a new guy, a new boy on the block, a new fuckboy on the block that is just driving Facebook mad, Twitter mad, Instagram mad, and the whole Silicon Valley cannot seem to understand how TikTok has just come and blew them out of the water. So, in the last couple of weeks, in fact, last week, we saw the CEO of TikTok. His name is, what's his name? Oh yeah, Shou Chew. Big up Shou Chew, my man. All right, so he went to Congress to explain how TikTok actually operates and listen to what their concerns are. And of course, in the end, he actually takes their concerns into consideration, understanding that the Americans are, I'm not going to say they are scared, but they are paranoid, maybe paranoid. All right. So look, there's a lot about the Americans that's a bit crazy. They are a crazy country. And of course, we'll listen to one of the big TikTokers who tells us exactly how messed up the US is and how crazy the US has been. And of course, some of these things is things we've known and things that we have seen, how the US has been bombing everybody, invading countries, taking resources from all these countries, including us, of course, using multinational companies, including giving us fake chicken, fake food, geo foods, genetically modified foods, the maize, I can go to town about this. But anyway, I'm going to let you listen to what the people have to say. There was some serious concerns. So this TikToker breaks it down quite nicely. I want you to take a look at it. When we come back, we'll also take a listen to the CEO of TikTok and what are the steps he's considering to take in making sure that they listen to lawmakers in the US and they follow as per the protocol. Now, I don't know if other social media platforms have been... I know Mark Zuckerberg went to explain himself to the Congress, but I don't know if it was as extensive as what TikTok has gone through. And perhaps maybe Mark Zuckerberg was like, look, I've gone to testify and I was grilled and now you guys are a new kid on the block. You are a Chinese app. Meanwhile, you'll see this CEO explains where he's from and how TikTok is based. And yeah, man, take a listen to this. Actually, watch this. Boom.
Since TikTok is probably actually going to get banned this time, I wanted to talk about some of the very disturbing things that I noticed from today's congressional hearing with TikTok's CEO. And the reason that I think that TikTok is going to be banned is because for the first time in my entire adult life, I saw Congress Democrats and Republicans unanimously come together on something. I've never seen that before. Both Democrats and Republicans in Congress just went to war with TikTok this morning. And ironically, it's the app that 150 million of us have come together on to share ideas, make each other laugh. And I don't know about you, but I, for one, have had many of my long-held political ideas and beliefs be swayed by creators just like you who presented an idea from a different point of view than I'd ever considered it. It's made me a more open person, and that's what's made this app so special. And somehow, our so-called representatives couldn't be in a bigger hurry to take that away from us. Our own elected officials today signaled something to all Americans, and it came through loud and clear. Even though we elected them, they don't represent any of us. They have used us to gain power, and now they want more of it. Because if the bill to ban TikTok passes, it's more than just TikTok that we are going to be losing. We'll lose virtually all freedom of speech, expression, and communication online as the government decides what is and isn't safe and appropriate to say on the web. And I never thought I would live to see the day that the American government begs the Chinese to censor Americans. That's a direct quote from somebody that commented on my live today while I was covering these hearings. And they say that it's a national security threat, that China is collecting the data of Americans. But I seem to remember someone else who's already doing that. The NSA, the CIA, and the FBI, and they're using that data to radicalize U.S. citizens and incite violence right here on U.S. soil. Our government is doing that already. I heard our government representatives today talking about the Chinese as if they're some big bad wolf that should be feared. But what have the Chinese done to American citizens to actually make us afraid of them? Have they killed tens of thousands of innocent civilians via drone strike over the last 20 years? Have they removed foreign dictators from power, plunging entire regions of the world into war? Or how about this? Have they built a military with the sole purpose of backing a fiat currency that has nothing backing it besides the power of the military that enforces it globally? Have the Chinese allowed food manufacturers to fill our food with poisonous chemicals and preservatives that are known to cause cancer? No, I'm pretty sure that it's the American government that has done and allowed all of those things that I just mentioned. The Chinese have and continue to do some shady shit, but nobody clusterfucks the planet like the United States of America. And the thing that makes my blood boil is all of the carnage and death and destruction and pain that our country exports to the rest of the world is done against the will of the United States people. I don't know of a single American that is okay with all of the violence and chaos that our country has caused over the last 2 decades just to pad the pockets of the few families who have ties to the military-industrial complex and the government that enables it. Because the last I checked, there are no governments who have the track record for destroying lives like ours does. And that's the irony behind what I saw today during this congressional hearing. A bunch of representatives of a system that has blood on its hands, pointing the finger at a Chinese app for granting free speech to a population that is supposedly guaranteed that right by their constitution and by God himself. And is it any surprise to Congress and other government officials that Americans are going to use that free speech to criticize and question their government? It's literally in our DNA as a people to do that. The people that founded this country chose liberty and death over being told by a dictator how to live their lives. This is supposed to be America, the land of the free. And it sure feels like our government is trying to convince us that that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's crazy to me, but this is really uniting the American people. People left and right are starting to question their own politics. I'm seeing it in people's eyes. People saying, am I really a Republican? It sure doesn't feel like I'm being represented by the people who promised to protect my freedoms. Am I really a Democrat? It certainly doesn't feel like the people I elected are progressing the country in a direction that looks like it has a brighter future than where we came from. Collectively, we all agree we're heading into a corner that we don't want to be in. Because this hearing has made it really clear who our elected officials serve. It's not us. It hasn't been for a long time, and the people in this hearing aren't qualified to ask the questions that they asked this morning. They're not even qualified to lead the country, because the American people are simple. We just want to be left alone. We want to raise our families, make sure that they're safe, happy, and healthy, and we want that same thing for everyone else that wants to come here and build that kind of life. We don't want to ban apps. We don't want to stifle free speech. We certainly don't want to fund foreign wars or invade foreign countries the moment that oil is found. We want to be left alone. We want peace. We are craving a way to learn to respect each other again, and TikTok has given us that space. And the fact that Democrat and Republican leaders are so united in wanting to ban this app tells us all we need to know about who is responsible for things continually going from bad to worse in this country, regardless of what your political views are. So if this platform is banned, wouldn't it be something if we all considered a new party? A party that actually represented us as people? Wouldn't that be something?
Chair Rogers, Ranking Member Pallone, members of the committee, thank you for your time. I am Shou Chu, and I'm from Singapore. That's where I was born, as were my parents. And after serving in Singapore's military, I moved to the UK to attend college, and then here to the US to attend business school. I actually met my wife here. By the way, she was just born a few miles away from here in Virginia. 2 years ago, I became the CEO of TikTok. Today, we have more than 1 billion monthly active users around the world, including over 150 million in the United States. Our app is a place where people can be creative and curious, and where close to 5 million American businesses, mostly small businesses, go to find new customers and to fuel their growth. Now, as TikTok has grown, we've tried to learn the lessons of companies that have come before us, especially when it comes to the safety of teenagers. While the vast majority of people on TikTok are over 18, one of our fastest growing demographics are people over 35. We spent a lot of time adopting measures to protect teenagers. Many of those measures are firsts for the social media industry. We forbid direct messaging for people under 16, and we have a 60-minute watch time by default for those under 18. We have a suite of family pairing tools so that parents can participate in their teens' experience and make the choices that are right for their family. We want TikTok to be a place where teenagers can come to learn, which is why we recently launched a feed that exclusively features educational videos about STEM. STEM videos already have over 116 billion views on TikTok. And I think TikTok is inspiring a new generation to discover a passion for math and science. Now, I would also like to talk about national security concerns that you have raised, that we take very, very seriously. Let me start by addressing a few misconceptions about ByteDance, of which we are a subsidiary. ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government. It's a private company. 60% of the company is owned by global institutional investors. 20% is owned by the founder, and 20% owned by employees around the world. ByteDance has 5 board members. 3 of them are American. Now, TikTok itself is not available in mainland China. We're headquartered in Los Angeles and in Singapore, and we have 7,000 employees in the US today. Still, we have heard important concerns about the potential for unwanted foreign access to US data and potential manipulation of the TikTok US ecosystem. Our approach has never been to dismiss or trivialize any of these concerns. We have addressed them with real action. Now, that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, building what amounts to a firewall that seals off protected US user data from unauthorized foreign access. The bottom line is this: American data stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. We call this initiative Project Texas. That's where Oracle is headquartered. Today, US TikTok data is stored by default in Oracle servers. Only vetted personnel operating in a new company called TikTok US Data Security can control access to this data. Now, additionally, we have plans for this company to report to an independent American board with strong security credentials. Now, there's still some work to do. We have legacy US data sitting in our servers in Virginia and in Singapore. We're deleting those, and we expect that to be complete this year. When that is done, all protected US data will be under the protection of US law and under the control of the US-led security team. This eliminates the concern that some of you have shared with me that TikTok user data can be subject to Chinese law. This goes further, by the way, than what any other company in our industry have done. We will also provide unprecedented transparency and security for the source code for the TikTok app and recommendation engine. Third-party validators like Oracle and others will review and validate our source code and algorithms. This will help ensure the integrity of the code that powers what Americans see on our app. We will further provide access to researchers, which helps them study and monitor our content ecosystem. Now, we believe we are the only company that offers this level of transparency. Now, trust is about actions we take. We have to earn that trust with decisions we make for our company and our products. The potential security, privacy, content manipulation concerns raised about TikTok are really not unique to us. The same issues apply to other companies. We believe what's needed are clear, transparent rules that apply broadly to all tech companies. Ownership is not at the core of addressing these concerns. Now, as I conclude, there are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform, and we know we have a responsibility to protect them, which is why I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok will remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments. I'll be grateful for any feedback that you have, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
And so you heard for yourself. That's what's happening around the world of TikTok and social media. And of course, one of our favorite apps. I love TikTok because of the algorithms. They've been absolutely unbelievable. If my content is interesting, it hits the roof. It's not like where you've got to have a whole lot of followers in order for you to actually get a good viewership, a lot of likes, etc. TikTok is based on interest, which is what is really, really cool. I don't know if the algorithms have really changed in the last 2 months. I've seen some videos and I've seen people complain, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they want to go the YouTube Shorts route, where they create a fund for creatives, and now they've changed the algorithms because you can't just pop one video and hit 50,000, 100,000 views like we could last year. I mean, some of my videos have hit 500,000 views, 200,000 views, 100,000 views, 50,000 views, like some crazy. I mean, at some point, I saw the numbers hitting just over 2.5 million across my TikTok page. And whereas on Facebook, the Facebook page is slow, my Instagram is slow, YouTube is steadily growing, but the algorithms are nothing compared to what TikTok has to offer. Anyway, I'm going to let that one go. Here's the issue I wanted us to look at. I mean, this is going to be the last issue for the day. And of course, as a Free Ride podcast, there's unfiltered truth. This is one of my concerns as a citizen of this country. Okay. So firstly, I'm a taxpayer. You're a taxpayer. Whether you are unemployed or you are employed, you still pay a form of tax or the other, or people around you that you live with are taxpayers. And we've seen in the last couple of weeks, in fact, a friend of mine, Rob, was telling me, a Jewish guy, he's been on the show before, he's a friend of the show. He was telling me, Sip, I've just sold my house, bro. I've sold my flat and I sold my house. I'm ready to go. And I'm like, why are you going? He's like, Sip, so many of my friends are leaving South Africa. And I'm like, why? Why? He's like, Sip, let me tell you, bro. The guy's about probably 50-something, 58, 56, almost 60. Great guy. Charmer of note. Awesome guy. So he says, a lot of my friends are leaving. They are leaving because they don't feel safe. They feel like the country is going down the drums. And the level of crime is just escalating. The level of corruption is just escalating. People do not feel like they want to pay their taxes to South Africa because they can see what South Africans and our leadership and are doing with our taxes. So their complaints, of course, whether they're justified or unjustifiable, they feel like their money is going to be wasted by politicians. And of course, we've seen just some few examples. The president's cabinet has bloated up. There's just an increase in terms of government employees. There's just an increase in terms of salaries, unions demanding increases, and money being recklessly spent. The Auditor General, every year, he gives us these his reports. And of course, when you look at his reports, you will be shocked by the level of nkare ukila bona motho asna asa tlhola khatala asa tlhola ana le tswalo. You know, they've got no fear, they've got no, they are brazen about it. They are brazen about it. They will take steal, they'll rob, they'll even create gangs, even create mafias just in a municipality, in a state. We've seen and heard about how Eskom has been going through this coal issue and all these mafias that are running the scheme of giving us bad coal at an expensive rate, or people selling us diesel at an expensive price, or, you know, people just inflating. People who do government business or who do business with government, they are robbing the state, bluntly. And people who work in the state are in cahoots with some of them. So we've seen how so many municipalities are in the red. They can barely keep their lights on. So the next video I want you to have a look at, my boy Mustafa has put it together. Very interestingly, he breaks down what happens with nearly 40,000 people leaving South Africa. So it's a concern. It's a concern, a deep one. Our tax base is shrinking. But let me stop right here. Let him tell you all about it. Check it out right here. Boom.
So here's something interesting. Since 2017, 40,000 plus South African taxpayers have left the country for a better quality of life and higher earning potential. It's official. We are now well and truly in a tax-based drain. Thousands of South Africans have ended their tax residency and the government is bleeding billions. National Treasury's 2022 data shows that 2.5 million South Africans cover 84% of all personal income tax collected in the country. This is from a registered personal income tax base of 6.5 million people. As recently as February 2023, SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter admitted that 6,000 taxpayers had immigrated in 2022. But interestingly enough, the law allows for those same people to still be South African citizens but be tax residents elsewhere. Also, South Africans who immigrate but leave assets behind are still liable for tax on those. With over 40,000 taxpayers already having left in the last 5 years, it's not about people leaving, it's about who is leaving. SARS data shows that the largest number of people changing their tax residency in 2021 were people between the ages of 25 and 34. This is a worrying trend. Look, it's clear that SARS is losing billions from all these people changing their tax residency. But what I want to debate is for how long can the middle class and upper classes keep carrying the nation without any relief in sight? Something's gotta give.
All right, man. Welcome back to it. This is the Free Ride Podcast. And of course, thank you very much for all of you who like and share my content. I really appreciate it. Listen, I apologize that I have not been consistent enough in doing the Free Ride Podcast. And of course, there has been a couple of guys, like I said, who want to come onto the show. And I've just gone through a little bit of a difficult time. I also had a problem with the car, so I could not drive it around. And but as soon as I sorted it out, by the month of April, I'll be back on and I'll be doing a few interviews here and there. And of course, there's another surprise that I've been working on, but it's taking a little bit longer than I thought. And I don't want to announce it like I've announced it previously, taking this show onto a TV channel. There's just more admin than I actually imagined. So, and I don't want to exhaust a lot of my upcoming guests before I tie up all the loose ends. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. There's just so much pressure from these young artists who want to be on the show, man. So I apologize to you. I apologize to you and I apologize to them. And but here's the unfiltered truth in case you don't like to watch formal TV news channel. So you want to hear it from a guy like me. Maybe you want to hear it from a dude like me. Maybe what we could go out in your hotona luena e puelang hela. So ne kere ke go laele ke go bolelle gore go etsagalang in our country and around the world. So those are the stories I'm sticking to. This has been the Free Ride Podcast. We'll check out what this week brings for us. And of course, I'll talk about it when we come back. All right, man. It's been awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Listen and subscribe, share, post, all of that. Thank you very much. Boom.